recommend that people play like this. So this is not an instructional video, so just consider it fun. Just basically using it to test myself, because James broke and he miscued on the break and he left a cluster. I mean a cluster F word. He walks away cursing himself, and let's see what he leaves at the table. The stripes look far better than the solids, and that's because there's only one stripe in the cluster in the middle of the rack, and there's 4 solids, so it's pretty apparent to me that we need to go for the stripes. There's issues with the stripes too. These balls have not stopped rolling. Let's take a look. Okay, there we go. The 10 ball's tied up on the 2, and I should get absolutely perfect position. And my plan here is to use that 10 to break out the stack. The main problem here is this 8 ball. I can easily run this rack if I can get through to 10 and get through to a shot on the 8 ball. So my first order of business is a 10 ball, and I'm going to use that 10 ball to break out the rest of the stack and have a shot on the 8 ball. But let's see, that's my plan from the start. Let's see what happens. I shot to 15, and I succeeded in breaking out, getting the 2 ball out of the way. But now I have basically no shot except for a last resort shot, which is a combination, and it's not my favorite shot. Yeah, I'm not big on combinations, unless they're really simple. They vary from really simple to they can be pretty damn hard. This one's somewhere in between, and the problem is the distance from the 13 to the 11. That's what I'm looking at, because I know it's hard to tell on this screenshot here, but I can hit the 13 full. After that, I'm still trying to get to the 10 ball to break out that 8 ball. I think I might have a shot on the 14. I'm going to have to take a closer look at it. But here's the combination. Let's just do one thing at a time here. That's done, but I cut the 13 loose, and now the 13 goes back into the stack, which is really, really, really not good. So the 14 did come out on the other hand, but the 13 went into it. So now it's all about having a shot on this 13, and I'm still focused on that 10 ball. And you'll see exactly how I do this here in a minute. It's all about this 10 and leaving it right where it is, and not shooting the 10 on the side, but shooting it down here in the corner and bouncing off this rail and going into the stack to break out both the 13 and the 8 ball. It's business issue. Who cares about business? We have a pull video here. Another combination, 13, 12 ball. A little bit of a poke. The problem is, once again, the 13 gets away from me, and now I have a shot on the 8 ball in this corner down here. But how do you get there? I have to stay on this side of the table. But it's in the process of trying to get to this side of the table to have a clear shot on this 8 that I see another option, and I'll show you closer what I'm talking about here. A lot of guys miss this option because it just doesn't seem natural. People are always looking for a path. And so I had to cut the hell out of that ball, and I'm trying to bounce off this rail and get back up on this side. But as I fail at doing that, I'm seeing another option. People look for a clear shot from the object ball to the pocket, and that's a natural thing to do. They rarely see the billiard off another ball. And in 8-ball, you're allowed to billiard off different balls and carry them and all this other stuff. As long as you hit the 8-ball first and call the pocket that you're shooting at, it's all good. I want to pause here because I do not have a clear path from the 8-ball to the pocket. This 5-ball is blocking it. So I'm shooting the 5 or the 8 into the 1 to carry them off it and to go in the corner. And I'll give you a closer look at that right now. I'm going to put it in slow motion for it. I'm going to scratch too, which, you know, it was a tense rack, nerve-wracking and all. And shooting that last 8-ball shot and making it, and then I'm going to scratch, and it's almost enough to drive you bananas. All you can do is shake your head and say, okay, this game is driving me crazy, but I won. That's what mattered. Peace.
Yeah, Commerce. Yeah, between downtown Knoxville and West Knoxville, you had a little town called Bearden. There's a place called Commerce, and that's where any action that was coming in from out of town would wind up at Commerce, particularly in the daytime. And it was owned by a guy named Dick Comer, who previously owned the pool hall in downtown Knoxville. But that was a little bit before my time, although I've heard much stories about Comer. I was playing a lot in the bars and pool halls, but nothing like this. This was old-fashioned, had church pews lining the walls, you know, and a real high-dollar action pit. And I decided that this was the place. If I was ever going to do anything with my pool game, I had to be here. I had to be amongst the best in the Southeast. And that's where they funneled into. Dick was he was in bad health by the time I started coming around. But I saw my share of action, but not as much as before. This had to be the 80s. You know, Shannon Dalton would pop in every now and then. And, you had road guys coming up from Atlanta and over from Nashville. It was a real sharp pit. It was a big time card game going on in the back. And, just old-fashioned pool hall, where if you walk in and you don't have respect for people, you're going to get thrown out on your ass. It had the pool etiquette thing that I was looking for. Yeah, you had Wade Crane. His real name was Billy Johnson. He was a pro. Knoxville Bear, whose real name was Eddie Taylor. And you had Lefty Bennett and guys like Earl Fry. The issue is these guys were quickly aging and sort of retiring from pool. But right behind them, there was this like new generation of pool players trying to reach that level of pool. And I wanted to be one of the guys who actually not just reached that level, but it exceeded it. That was my whole dream, to be the next Eddie Taylor. So I was working graveyard shift at a truck wash just so I could be there in the daytime. It was heaven for me. It was pool heaven.